A never-ending cycle of torment and death for a hero that is met with an unfortunate fate. Before Sonic.exe, we had El Pendrive Azul. But there's one more Sonic Creepypasta that was made even before that, dating back to 2010. A piece of lost media that was made by a user by the name of Chinlin that predates Sonic.exe and may very well be the first Sonic Creepypasta to exist. Chinlin has since deleted the videos on the Sonic Pasta, but it has been re-uploaded to YouTube with both the original story and the remake, along with another story called Sonic Zero. There's also a song by the name of Moribund that retells the story in a unique and admittedly pretty sad way. But before we delve into that, we first have to go back to the origin of the Sonic Pasta's creation and talk about the 3 short videos that came out about the creepypasta in order to fully understand Moribund and what it originated from. Starting with the original first video to come out, simply titled Sonic. The first instance of this creepypasta is only 2 minutes long, and there isn't much to gather from just the video alone. It starts out with the title screen just saying Sonic, only for it to send Sonic to a zone named Not Special Act 0. The level is completely dark with a ring placed on the right. Jumping through the ring takes Sonic to a special zone that for some reason is in space. This level doesn't take long as he jumps into the goal line, but upon doing this, the screen turns to a harsh red. The audio distorts and you can hear what appears to be blood-curdling screams as everything fades to black and the game crashes. Upon booting it up, we're met with a now loading screen. We're taken to Act 1 with no name. Sonic spin dashes into a speed boost, and I think we all know where this may be going. Sonic keeps hitting speed boxes, moving incredibly fast and in a weird way until he's unable to stop, slamming his body into spikes, completely severing his body. This might look familiar as this was one of the first instances that Sally.exe took inspiration from, or more accurately, just stole entirely. Editor doesn't catch you here, so they also stole the background to this. At least it's very similar. As you guys can see here, where Amy is appears to be the first level of the Chinlin Sonic. And I just wanted to point that out as well. This was just something that I noticed. It seems that it stole quite a bit, along with where Cream is collecting speed boxes and slams into spikes. But it doesn't stop there. The screen lingers before a picture of Sonic flashes, and we're taken to Zone 9, titled Go Back, skipping 7 levels. Some of you might recognize this scene from, again, Sally.exe, but this is actually where it originated from, showing that the original Sonic.exe story may have took some inspiration or straight up ripped off of this creepypasta and put it into theirs, as the Sonic.exe creepypasta had been released at least a year later. A slowed version of Green Hill plays as Sonic gets crushed, and we're taken to the last part of the video, End Act 1. This features a chimera that closely resembles the one from Smash Brothers, and also Earthbound, I guess. And if you've played Smash before, you know not to jump in front of this thing. Seeing as Sonic wasn't invited to Smash yet, he made the mistake of spin dashing into it after realizing it's impossible to kill, and there was only one other way to try. The chimera devours Sonic, and we see a game over screen with Sonic's head on a pike. And interestingly enough, the Suicide Mouse.avi song is playing in the background. Now, this is important to remember, as it'll be important later. This was in the very early days of creepypastas, and while we're no stranger to gore or spikes, this was likely unnerving to some back when this was entirely new. Sure, the Chimera being here is a little silly, but this is the only instance the Chimera makes an appearance, as in the future, due to a tummy ache, he doesn't appear in the other videos. Before moving on to the next video, it's worth mentioning that there was a remake of the video we just watched. Sonic Hedgehog 1 clip 00943M, there's improved visuals and some creative differences that they took. It's still showing the same thing, just in a different way. For example, the background to the special stage is no longer the same, and when Sonic crashes into the spike, he's still moving as if he's still alive before it flashes a picture of him and cuts away. But there's one key difference that I think makes this version an overall improvement to the creepypasta. Instead of the Chimera at end zone 1, there's Silver Sonic from Sonic 2, otherwise known as Mecha Sonic. Sonic begins to spin dash at Mecha Sonic, but is completely shredded by the spikes attached to it. The video now ends with a game over screen with a gray background and the normal game over song plays. It says it was produced by or under license from Sega Enterprises before going to a red screen and abruptly ending. To add to this, in the description, there's some context to the game, which this is the only bit of lore that we really find that is fit into the description of these re-uploads. A few weeks ago, I managed to get a Sega Genesis on sale that came with a bundle of cartridges. In my experience buying consoles that came with games, especially those that use cartridges, I usually expected things of low quality. And I already had a special cartridge ready that allows me to play any game I want through an SD card. As I was trying out the different games that came with the console, I found something curious on a cartridge featuring that character named Sonic. This game has many unpleasant changes to the tone that Sonic usually maintains. In addition, the character's movement is harder to control. I hope the recording I made looks good. Before, we didn't have much context as to what this was, but now we know that, at least for this version, something went wrong with the cartridge, or that it was just kind of made that way. This was posted just a week before Sonic 0, before it was deleted, which it could either be a sequel or complete retelling to the original story by Chinlin. We can assume that something went wrong with the game, and that Sonic is cursed to keep dying in brutal ways until it's over. But Sonic 0 includes a bit more dialogue in the video, and it's also the last piece of lost media posted by Chinlin about the creepypasta before they deleted their channel. Sonic 0's first level of the game is named Deep Hubris Zone Act 1. It takes place at Green Hill Zone at night, and in front of Sonic is a spring. Seeing as there is no other path, he jumps on the spring only to find a series of springs he has to go on in order to progress. And Sonic clips out of the level, dies, and jump scares us briefly. You'll notice that the number of rings are flashing and remain at 0, and the number of lives are at 3. But upon starting the next level, titled Great Entropy Zone, Act 1, it's at 2. Now, okay, obviously this is how lives work, but that had to have been one of the most unfair deaths in any game ever. If I was the player, I would be so confused at this point. Sonic encounters a glitched version of himself and jumps on it. After it dies, the whole screen starts to glitch and slowly takes over the screen, moving us to Green Hill Zone, but with the text saying, "Without you." And as the level scrolls by, we notice that Sonic isn't here. Once it reaches the end of the level, the Sonic clone reappears and causes the whole level to glitch out, taking us to Act 0. It has no name to it and has Sonic walking through a desolate and gray world, with text appearing every so often. What's odd is that there are rings above him as he runs, but Sonic can't jump high enough to reach them. Sonic also randomly takes damage, and his rings slowly tick down each time he takes this said invisible damage. As you continue, the name Green Hill Zone appears, which, following the events what we've seen before, we can assume this corrupted Sonic had changed everything and caused Sonic to start being this way. At some point, the game begins to talk to Sonic, reading as follows. "You are quite far away from home. Do not bother running. Every star died out long ago. Now it's just you, and your world and friends are gone, but so are your foes. I hope you know well, not even gods last forever. There are no evils to fight. There is no reason to persist. Even now, your time runs short, yet you still struggle." We hear what sounds like blood-curdling screams again, and the words "lay down and sleep" flash on the screen. And when it passes, Sonic stops, the one ring he had suddenly drains to 0, and he responds to this. He curls up and accepts his fate. Sonic has now passed, and the screen fades to black. This is one of the more interesting creepypastas, but it's not as well known as Pendrive or Sonic.exe, likely due to it being deleted and recovered years later. The premise of it is Sonic is in a constant state of dying and never-ending torment, but in Sonic 0, I may have a theory. Now, this could just be me overanalyzing and thinking about it too much. I mean, it is a creepypasta overall. Perhaps there is a deeper meaning to Sonic Zero. My theory is that this creepypasta symbolizes depression and or suicide. Now, this wasn't incredibly uncommon, especially around the creepypasta era. I mean, Suicide Mouse, Suicide Squidward, these were incredibly common. But just hear me out. Sonic first confronts what appears to be a clone, and after he does this, the whole screen glitches out. The next level is titled Without You. Green Hill is completely empty until that corrupted Sonic comes on screen, glitches it out, and takes us to a completely grayed out area. Act 0 has rings that are just out of reach, and there is a theme of feeling hopeless. The person talking to you says things like every star has died out long ago, which could reflect passion or the motivation to move on. Perhaps Sonic is talking to himself. Like I said, this theory could just be me reaching, and it could be me overanalyzing. But I wanted to at least throw it out there, as this was a very common thing with creepypastas at the time. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Now, let's move on to one of my favorite takes on this creepypasta, Moribund. This song is composed and made by Red Seas and is likely going to be put into an FNF mod at some point. The title of the song, Moribund, means at the point of death. This song is not only good from a musical perspective, but from a storytelling one as well. There are different acts throughout the song that tell the suffering of Sonic with amazing visuals. It tells how Sonic is in a never-ending state of death and just wants the suffering to end. In this world, Sonic is stuck in purgatory with monsters and beasts at every corner. The description gives us a bit more context to this as it reads as follows. What would you do if you could never die? Permanently, at least. A purgatory of monsters and beasts awaits them. Will they learn to love and accept it, or continue to try and fail to free themselves from fate? And as the song goes on, it gives multiple examples of how Moribund is used. The first act samples from a song called Aishite, which roughly translates to love me, but in a sort of psychotic way. Another thing that interests me is that it uses Hatsune Miku vocals, which I was glad to hear because it actually works great in the song, and I just like Hatsune Miku, which takes us to Act 3. This shows a version of Sonic bloodied and bruised, tears rolling down his eyes as birds sit around him. These birds can symbolize the want to be free, or to be able to fly away, as there's at least one bird with Sonic in every act. This is also a reference to the bird that was on the Chimera during the original Chineland Sonic. Act 3 is mine and many others' favorite part just for the lyrics. I won't play too much of the song because I want you all to experience this if you haven't already, and I don't really want to take from Red Seas. Sonic sings how he wants the suffering to end, and that one life was enough for him. These monsters continuously eat him again and again, and there is no escaping it. The sound of crying plays in the background and gets louder before it abruptly ends, and we hear a familiar motif linking it to the original creepypasta it was inspired from, along with having Sonic's head on a pike. I really cannot emphasize how good this is, and the amount of thought put into it is incredible. I mean, I can't help but to feel awful for Sonic. At least he knows how Tails feels in most Sonic creepypastas. I do highly recommend you guys listen to the song, and if you do, be sure to subscribe to Red Seas because they absolutely deserve it. Seriously, really well done. Chineland Sonic lives on through this song, and even if the original creepypasta isn't anything spectacular, it still played a vital role in what people know as Sonic.exe, more specifically Selly.exe. This now somewhat lost media has found a home and lives on through the community. In my opinion, for the creepypasta era, this was probably one of the better ones, as I was fascinated with creepypastas when I was growing up, and if I had known about this one, I feel like I would have been pretty unnerved, but then again, it wasn't too hard to scare me, as Jeff the Killer kind of unnerved me. I love Red Sea's take on the creepypasta, not to mention, it's a really good song. And now, you understand its origins and what inspired it. Thank you everyone so much for watching, subscribe, and remember, stay freaky!